Shalom.
Good evening, good evening. Shabbat Shalom. It is a pleasure to be together on this cloudy, rainy, I'm not sure, but it is a pleasure to be together nonetheless. As we begin our service this evening, as we are wont to do, we are on either page 10 in our prayer book or looking at the words for this special setting of Hine Matov on the screens in front of you if you are with us in person.
Open the door, open your eyes, open your heart, see what's inside. Hine Matov,
turn now in our prayer books to page 2 as we prepare to welcome Shabbat, as we kindle the lights of Shabbat. It is a wonderful weekend here at Temple, not only as we get to celebrate Shabbat, but we get to celebrate the Bat Mitzvah, the coming of age of a remarkable young person. Sam, would you join us for this prayer, along with your mother and your grandmother? It is wonderful to have you here with us. Now, just mom and grandmother? Fair enough. Somebody has to hold the prayer books. Friends, we are on page 2. All right, so if you would grab that candle from the middle and light the candles, we'll all sing together as soon as you are done. Go ahead and light them, and then we'll all sing.
Baruch atah Adonai,
Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlikneh, shel Shabbat. Thank you both so much, and congratulations. And we turn now to page 5 as we welcome the sweetness of our day of rest with words of Kiddush. If it is comfortable for you to do so, I would invite you to rise as together we join in prayer on page 5.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav, v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho, v'ahava uvratzon, inchilanu, zikaron lemaaseh b'reishit, ki hu yom techila, lemikrae kodesh, zecher litziat Mitzrayim, ki banu v'chata, ve'otanu kidashta, mikol ha'amim, v'shabbat kodshecha, ve'ahava uvratzon, hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh haShabbat.
L'chaim. Please, you're welcome to be seated. We continue as we welcome Shabbat using words of Psalm 96. This setting can be found on pages 13 and 14 in your prayer books if you want to flip back and forth, or on the screens in front of us as we sing a new song unto God.
Shiru l'Adonai, kol haaretz. Shiru Adonai, shir chadash. Sing unto God, all the earth, a new song. I will sing
There's a fair bit of debate in the modern world when you're attending a sporting event and you need to get up and use the restroom or you want to go grab a bite to eat, when it is appropriate to make your way back to your seat. Do you have to wait until there is a stoppage in play? Do you have to wait for the middle of an inning? Or can you simply step over those in your way to reclaim your seat? You probably guess how I feel about this particular conundrum, but the same perhaps is true in the Jewish world. Perhaps you grew up in a congregation where it was not acceptable to enter the synagogue during the Torah service, or perhaps you have made the somewhat embarrassing faux pas of entering during our next prayer. For indeed, as we turn to pages 20 and 21 in the prayer book, when we get to the final stanza, we will rise and face the entrance, imagining we are welcoming Shabbat into our midst. Although sometimes we happen to welcome Joe or Sally or whomever happens to be entering the congregation in that moment, much to everyone's levity. I offer this as a precursor to the prayer to recognize that sometimes the choreography of the Jewish service can be a little bit novel if you are not used to the way we move our bodies. We are standing, we are bending, we are twisting, we are turning. And one of the things we're hoping to do in the coming weeks is to begin a process of helping to demystify the prayer service. On your way in, perhaps on your way out, you can get a schedule. On Friday, June 9th, we're going to talk a little bit more about the choreography. On the 23rd, we'll try to figure out the order of the service. On the July 7th, we'll talk about changes the Reform movement has made to the prayer book. On Friday, July 21st, we'll talk about why we don't always sing your favorite version of the prayer that you actually came here to sing and get disappointed with us for. All of this and more. But I want to assure you that these are regular Shabbat services where we will simply place an emphasis on these teaching moments rather than a class where the prayers won't be harmed. We invite everyone, whether you are newer to the experience or whether you are a long-time participant in prayer, to join us for those services. So, with no further ado, and with a whole lot of laughter at the expense of somebody who walks in, I would invite you not to do that in case it happens. Our service continues pages 20 and 21 with words of Lecha Dodi.
Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat, Nikavela. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat, Nikavela. Shamod v'zachor b'dibur echad, Yishmi'anu el ham yuchad, Adonai echad u'shmo echad, Shem u'tiferet v'litila. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat, Nikavela. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, B'nei Shabbat, Nikavela. Likrat Shabbat, lechu v'necha, ki hi mekol ha'beracha, v'rosh mikedem mesucha, sof ma'aseh v'machshava tchila. Lecha Dodi,
invite you to rise as we turn expectantly now toward the door.
Boi v'shalom, ateret bala, gam b'simcha u'tzohola, toch emunei am segula, boi chala, boi chala.
So which is it? Do you wait for the inning break? Or now that baseball games are so much shorter, do you feel compelled to get back to your seat as quickly as possible? As you're saying Shabbat Shalom to the person beside you, share your philosophy on sporting events.
But if you did.
I did. There's a right and wrong answer here, friends. When you have welcomed those around you, we invite you to take your seats as we continue our welcoming page 24 words of Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Asharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Borchem Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Barchuni l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
We continue now, words of Chatzi Kaddish, page 26.
Hitkadal, Hitkadash, Shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Ve'alma divrach Yirutei, ve'amlich malchotei, v'chai echon u'v'yom echon, u'chayet echol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala, u'vizman karim, v'imru, Amen. Yehet Shmei Rabbah mevarach, ve'alam ul'almei amaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach, yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh, v'yithalal, Shem B'di Kodesha b'richu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, dam
rising in body or in spirit as we are able. On page 28, we join in our Baruch Hu praise.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
We continue with a setting of Ma'ariv Aravim, page 30 in our prayer books, 9 lines down if you're a numbers person, or on the screens if you're with us in the Beit HaTefillah.
Roll into dark, roll into night, night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light, night becomes day, day turns to night. Mavtil ben yom uvin layla, Adonai tzvaot shemo, El chai v'kayam, Tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed. Baruch ata Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim.
Would you join us in the English reading on the bottom of page 33? After this English reading, we will chant together the Chatimah, the Hebrew line at the end, which leads us both melodiously and theologically and ideologically into the words of Shema Yisrael on the following page. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol, all these things your Torah gives to us, and the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love than this holiest of your works and the living language that gives it form?
Baruch ata Adonai, Ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed.
As something of a preview of coming attractions, it is a pleasure to invite Sam forward to lead us in the prayer found on page 36. I invite everyone else to be seated. Beautifully done, as certainly tomorrow will be. Although perhaps if you'll humor me with one request, if you and student Cantor Sierra plan on coordinating tomorrow as well, could you include me in the text chain this time? I'm teasing. Beautifully done. Our service continues now on page 40 with our Mi Chamocha praise. Would you join us in the English on the top of page 43? Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up, waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, hapores sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. And on the top of page 44, rejoicing in the covenant of Shabbat.
V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam b'rit olam. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam b'rit olam. V'ni u'v'in b'nei Yisrael otid le'olam. V'ni u'v'in b'nei Yisrael otid le'olam. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam b'rit olam. Sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim v'et haaretz. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim v'et haaretz. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam b'rit olam. Uvayom hashvi Shabbat ba'yin avash, ברית עולם, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
And on pages 46 and following, we find our Shabbat Amidah. I again invite you to rise in body or in spirit as together we continue in prayer.
Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chastei Avot v'Imahot, U'mevi Geula Livnei B'neihem, L'ma'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer Mushia U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Bezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh hakol atah Rav le'hoshia, Morid hatam, Mechalkel chaim bechesed, Mechayeh hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim verofech olim, Umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato, Lishenei afad, Vichamocha bal gevurot, Umido melach, Melech memit umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'manat hachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, U'kdoshim b'chol yom yehalelucha selah, Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
We continue with the remaining prayers from this section of our service, using the words through page 62 to guide you, or perhaps offering the prayers that can only come from each of our own hearts. When you have finished your moment of silent prayer this Shabbat, we invite you to take your seats. page 253 in our prayer book, we find words of Mishaberach Lecholim, our prayer asking for a sense of healing, asking for a sense of wholeness, asking for a sense of peace for those who are troubled in this world. If there are those whom you are thinking in need of a prayer for healing this Shabbat, and you are comfortable doing so, I invite you to share their name with the community.
Francis Rice. Eve Overmans, Mary Marquez, Thomas Lynn Hyatt. Rita Cobb. Carol Stanley. Jennifer Pickles. Amy Weinberg and Ruthie Sutherland. Reedy Brown.
Mark Nukin, Debbie Higgins.
Baruch atah Adonai rofeh hacholim. Blessed are you, God, who brings a measure of comfort to those who are ill. On page 253, we join together with words of Mishaberach.
Mishaberach Avotenu Mekol HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishaberach Imotenu Mekor HaBracha Lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Earlier today, there was a phone call, a Zoom call, among the rabbis whose congregations are participating in the Religious Action Center of Reform Judaism's effort to get a better ground game here in the state of Pennsylvania. And I jokingly quipped as the call began, you guys must have your stuff better prepared than I do to have time for this at noon on a Friday. One of my colleagues, without missing a beat, said, Rabbi, it's the first Torah portion in Numbers. There are really only 2 sermons you can possibly give. The first is to be the gendered, stereotypical male rabbi and just wander around the pulpit for a little while, refusing to ask directions, the pulpit being roughly analogous in size to the Sinai Peninsula, and wondering what our ancient ancestors could have been doing for those 40 years in the wilderness. Or you could give a sermon about the census and that everyone counts. And I said, sure enough, I've written my sermon on the second one. Thank you for affirming that I wasn't missing something major in this week's Torah portion. It's no great mystery, actually, why the section of the Torah that we start this week is called Numbers in English, or even Bamidbar in Hebrew. The journey through the wilderness, Bamidbar, wilderness, of Sinai is recounted throughout this book of Torah, and it begins with a counting, the numbers of the people of Israel who are on this journey. More of a mystery, perhaps, are the sleeping arrangements among the tribes themselves. Bet you haven't spent too much time thinking about that one, have you? With the tabernacle, with the traveling sanctuary and symbol of God's presence in the very center of camp, where the tribes slept all around it was actually something of a big deal. Perhaps it was about protecting that which was most important, putting the tabernacle in the center and ensuring that enemies would have to navigate their way through the tribes to be able to attack. Or perhaps it was because each tribe wanted to be proximate to the divine. The mystery is who got to camp where. To be camped on the eastern side of the tabernacle would have been particularly meritorious, given the location of the Holy of Holies within said tabernacle. Just as proximity to that particular site makes some parts of the retaining wall for the ancient temple more valuable real estate than others to this day, and it happens to be why the men's section of the kotel is on the left when you are facing it, even if we don't like it that way, how much the more so would proximity to the Holy of Holies have been important back then? So who got to camp closest to it? Obviously, as the story goes, not everyone could camp on the east side, or they wouldn't be able to truly protect it. But all of the tribes apparently wanted that honor. The tribe of Reuben said, "I'm the firstborn. Shouldn't I be allowed to camp there?" Moses, according to the story, had to remind the Reubenites that the firstborn in Jewish tradition isn't where it's at, that it's always at least the second son. Think about Isaac or Jacob or even Moses himself. The tribe of Simeon said to him, "We are the most powerful. Nobody can defeat us." Moses had to remind him that the hopeful future of the Jewish people was about peace and not about war. The tribe of Asher said, "We have the most material wealth. We can buy our way onto the east side of the tabernacle." Moses had to remind them that according to Jewish tradition, all who are satisfied with their lot are considered rich. And so on through each of the tribes, until Moses realized that the tribes of Judah, Zebulun, and Issachar weren't even coming forward. Realizing their absence, Moses sought them out. "Don't you want to give a reason for camping closest to the holiest of holies?" "No," they answered. "I'm not sure that we're any better than our brethren, that we could make such a case." "Are you sure?" Moses asked. "Each of you must have something special to contribute." "Well, of course we do," the tribes of Judah and Issachar and Zebulun said. "But our special contribution isn't any more special than our brothers' contributions." Moses quickly realized, according to the story, that these were exactly the tribes who should get to camp on the east side of the tabernacle, closest to the Holy of Holies, for each of the rest had something to learn from them. Being the oldest, or the most powerful, or the richest, doesn't make someone the most important in the eyes of Jewish tradition. Being the most humble, or peaceful, or concerned about relationships? Well, okay, that also doesn't make anyone more important within Jewish tradition, but it does perhaps leave us better equipped to accept and understand the true story that we are all equal in the eyes of God. Judah, Issachar, Zebulun in the story didn't believe that they were any less than their peers. They just believed everyone was equally important, that everyone is important, that everyone counts, which ties back to the counting in this week's Torah portion, the first in the book of Numbers. Shabbat Shalom. Next time I will bring a compass and I will pace and you will understand and no one else will have any idea what I am doing. It'll be amazing. On the bottom of page 282, we find words of Aleinu L'Shabeach. As we reopen our Sidurim, as we turn to page 282, we invite you to rise if it is comfortable to do so.
Aleinu l'shabeach Adon hakol, latit gedula v'yoseh bereshit, shelo sanu kigli aratzot, v'lo samanu k'mitzvot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, v'lo rabbeinu k'kol ha'olam, Bayom hahu, bayom hahu, yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo, u'shemo, u'shemo echad.
You may be seated. This time in our service, our thoughts turn to our loved ones who have gone before us. We remember those whom we have lost. We mourn the recent passing of Philip Gefsky, who was laid to rest in recent days. And we mark the yahrzeit, the commemoration of the passing of David Avner and Jack Ann Baver, Zola Bremen and Henry Kaplan, Paul Cohen, Robert David Diskin, Irving Chick Frank, Hyman Freeman, Ray Ginsberg, Herbert Samuel Horowitz, Alan Jacobson, Irene Kalick, Stephen N. Kaufman, Irving Kiss, Patricia Leopold, Harry Levin, Marilyn Markovitz, Meyer Moydell, Carl Piddle, Louis P. Rosenberg, Esther Roth, Jeanette B. Roth, Paul Sapir, Stephen Shake, Prudence Sternheim, Herman Turian, Ethel Wolfson, and Ida Reba Zakowitz. If there are others whom you are remembering this Shabbat, or if I have inadvertently mispronounced the name of a loved one, I invite you to share their names aloud. Yehei zichronam livracha. May their memory be for us an everlasting blessing. Words of Kaddish Yatom, our mourner's prayer, can be found on page 294. Page 294 in our prayer books. When you have found your page, we invite you to rise together in support of those who are mourning as we affirm words of Kaddish Yatom. Yit gadal v'yit kedash shemei rabbah V'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael b'agala uv'izman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehei shemei rabbah mevarach le'alam u'lalmei almayah Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemed kudsha barich hu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tush bechata v'nechamata Damiran B'alma Vimru, Amen. Yehe Shalama Rabba Min Shemaya, V'chayim Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael, Vimru, Amen. Oseh Shalom Bimromah, Hu Yaseh Shalom, Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael, V'imru, Amen. May God, who makes harmony on high, bring peace to us and to all who mourn. And together we say, Amen. You may be seated. I have told you already about the upcoming opportunity for some adult education, demystifying or making more comfortable the service. If perhaps what you are seeking in your life is a lack of comfort, we invite you to join us on Sunday morning at 10 o'clock on the Jefferson track to join us for a 5K, a run, a walk, an opportunity to benefit our partners at SHIM. Though I worry if you register at this late date, we may not have a t-shirt for you. I assure you that SHIM could always use your dollars and your donations, and we would welcome anyone to join us at 10 o'clock on Sunday morning. Immediately following our service, we have a nosh just beyond these doors, and we invite you to stay, to kibbutz, to nosh, to continue the sacred community that we have created this evening. A tremendous, although a little bit early, mazal tov to Sam and your family. You're going to be amazing tomorrow, and Sierra and I so look forward to getting to celebrate with you. A special thank you to you, student Cantor Fox, for joining us, for leading us in service throughout the weekend, to Leslie for helping everyone who has joined us in sacred virtual community be with us tonight. And though it is not quite that time outside, it's getting to be that time in our service where we do the liturgical business that happens between the second night of Passover and the holiday of Shavuot occurring next week. We number the days. This whole Shabbat's about counting, I suppose. We number the days of the giving of the Omer, the barley offering in the ancient temple. We count those days between Passover and Shavuot, recognizing that Passover may have given us our freedom, but that it is the giving of the law and our responsibility on Shavuot that is what truly counts.
Now I can almost taste the cheesecake. It's so close. And the Torah. Sweetness. Cheesecake. I invite you to join in singing Sfirat HaOmer. If you remember the tune, you'll pick it up. If you don't, please sing with me. V'shem yichud kuchabrichu shchinte hineni muchan umezuman v'kayem mitzvot aseh shel sfirat haomer shel sfirat haomer shel sfirat haomer shel sfirat haomer sheva Shabbatot temimot tiyena sheva Shabbatot temimot tiyena Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu Hayom arba'a ve'arba'im yom, shehem shisha shavuot, v'shnei yamim la'omer. Today is 44 days, just 6 weeks and 2 days of the Omer. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.